don't really see myself losing to Wiggly. I think the only way I would lose is if he does something cheesy that I haven't really seen before, or if his laners just absolutely obliterate my laners or something and I can't recover it. Yeah, I spill something on my keyboard breaks. We don't have a spare one. Maybe it slips on my mouse too, so it breaks out too. Yeah, something like that could happen.
I do think we have really good players. I think the one that surprised me the most is definitely Wiggly, though. He's just, like, I don't think anyone expected him to be as good as he is now. And especially, even myself, just being honest, like, I wasn't expecting him to just start popping off and do really well. I thought he needed a lot more time. Just given off his results last split, I thought he would need a lot more time in LCS to be good. I knew he'd be good eventually, but yeah, I guess he kind of just like had a growth spurt or something, and now he's just doing really well. So
a growth spurt. He's bigger now. Well, he's definitely been putting on a big performance in the jungle. Our next tiebreaker match here is a clash for the final playoff bye between CLG and Cloud9. We just heard Svenskaren's thoughts on Wiggly and how there's no way that he was going to lose unless the laners really messed up or maybe his keyboard broke. But last time I checked, when these two teams played, it was Cloud9's Nexus that blew up.
Yeah, right after that, they lost. Now, though, Reaper said he was serious. He says he wants the highest chance of winning, putting in Svenskaren and Sneaky. And despite CLG's loss, we have to remember that this climb for this year has been astronomical. Considering in spring, they were 7th place, and now they're completing for a playoff bye. This is actually the most that an LCS team has climbed this year, going from 7th all the way to this match right now with Cloud9 in the tiebreakers, looking to see who will get that all-important bye.
Battle of the blue teams, Cloud9, CounterLogic Gaming, Corki, Tom Kench, Akali, Sejuani all banned away here in the first 4.
Okay, so taking away the Tom Kench from CLG and from Biofrost once again, I think that's pretty strong as they continue to focus on Biofrost, actually taking away Initiator as well. So CLG definitely have their eyes on Bio. It's basically been Bio and Wiggly as the two frontrunners for CLG's most valuable player thus far. Biofrost has been outstanding, especially in summer, winning bottom lane for them as well as making a lot of plays for the team. Now he's absorbing a lot of bans. Yumi's the last one that CLG banned against Cloud9. We'll see what they can go with the first pick. Licorice there, your guy on screen. He's really loved the Akali a lot. That is still up. Or no, that is banned now. So maybe it's the Aurelia switch for a similar style of solo laner.
Well, we are going to see a solo laner, but not quite Irelia or Akali. Instead, that Aatrox that, as we mentioned last game, has just been ever prevalent, evergreen in pro play ever since the rework. Revive or not, he's back on the Rift here this time around. CounterLogic Gaming, how are we going to respond here? Thinking about Rakan. Instead, remember, Azir is up, Corki is banned. So if you're looking at that upper echelon of just scaling mid laners, there's only one left, and Azir's the pick.
I think that this is what Cloud9 definitely expect, though. They first banned the Corki, leaving the Azir up. They're hoping for that trade from Power of Evil, and Cloud9 have often gone with kill lanes for Niski and Svenskaren. They have found so much success with things like Yasuo Gragas that are split-second initiations, looking to try and kill those squishier mid laners that Power of Evil likes to play. That might be what they're going for this time around. C9 usually full steam ahead as far as their initiations. Already with Aatrox, that is some very strong team fighting locked in.
Well, speaking of team fighting, we are going to see CLG with the Rakan. So how do Cloud9 want to answer that here in the bottom lane? Looks like Caitlyn might be picked up here. Plenty of objective control and lane power with this champion. That one's locked in.
Sneaky taking that away from Stixxay is definitely going to be a big one. Helps out the laning phase, super long range on Caitlyn early on. Helps her stay away from Rakan. You can also net as soon as the Rakan goes for the grand entrance. Try and avoid that death. And even if you're not able to avoid it that way, just put a black shield on her. And you're able to avoid any sort of CC. Will they break it with magic damage?
Morgana pretty fantastic at being able to stop a champion like Rakan, whose initiation is so easily telegraphed.
Yeah, plus Morgana Caitlyn is such a classic combination. If you land a binding, it lines up a very easy Caitlyn trap for the cupcake, and you get a huge damage combo off. It's one of those very old and annoying poke lanes, or I guess just long range lanes. Not really Poke isn't even a right word for it, as you can go all in when a binding lands, and that might even be 50% of someone's HP. Meanwhile, though, the other half of the Lovers duo locked in for CLG. 6 AM Bio definitely going to have a lot of options here early on as well.
Counterlogic Gaming are going to ban out Kiana here next. Cloud9 has always been one of those teams that's not afraid to experiment, to break out something newer, something less seen. Kiana's still a very new champion to League of Legends, so I'm sure many teams don't have a ton of experience playing against it, and CLG would rather not risk that here in such a high-stakes game.
And as we kind of mentioned, Niski has played a lot of all-in champions for the mid lane that look to get kills on their lane opponent. Jungle attention for C9 has typically been for top and mid lane for the solo lanes. So Gragas also banned away, one of those playmaking junglers from Svenskeren.
And you mentioned the Gragas Yasuo as well. That helps shut down. That's almost like a ban and a half. I mean, do you really want to play Yasuo without the easy knockups?
Yeah, you get 1.5 for that one. There are other knockups left and available, just not quite as iconic. And you don't get the easy long range combination of the ultimate toss. See what they decide to go for. Things like Rek'Sai is still available. I mean, Xin Zhao is even... Oh, they're actually picked by CLG instantly here. Wiggly back on this champion. He is one of the ones that put in a lot of time on it, actually, previously. And it's definitely a strong duelist, strong offensive champion. Of course, always the weakness. Everyone always cites with it, though. No way to disengage and get out of a bad situation. Your best hope is trying to not attack someone and hit them with your ultimate to give them that small knockback.
Yeah.
And then you have your defense of your ultimate for a small duration, but you have no defensive jumps. Your charge only works in.
Yeah, the best defensive mechanism for Xin Zhao is to kill everybody around you. Pretty much the only way that he's going to make sure that nobody's chasing him down, as Cloud9 will pick up the Rek'Sai in the jungle. And it looks like the pick for Niski is the Taliyah. Haven't seen a ton of this champion recently.
All right, they dangled the Azir out there. Let CLG pick it with the Taliyah in mind here. Very, very strong possible roaming mid laner. Plus, one of my favorite combinations, Rek'Sai and Taliyah. If I'm the jungler, I go in, I flash on Rek'Sai to hit that knockup. The target is dead because it allows Taliyah to easily land the seismic shove with all of the burst damage in the kit. You lay down the rocks, and that can be terrifying for anything, even like an Azir.
The final pick for Counterlogic Gaming here. Putting a lot of faith in Ruin, this guy that they brought in for Summer Split. They had fantastic results with after seeing his performance at MSI, being a rep from the TCL. Now he's going to be on the gangplank. They made sure they saw the entire enemy team. Hey man, how are you going to carry? Yo ho ho, gangplank into the top lane.
Yeah, Ruin has been instrumental in CLG's climb. We talked about it from spring 7th all the way to summer, fighting for the playoff bye. Added to the roster, very quick results for them. And let's get into it. CLG versus Cloud9, once again, top of the table, tied at 12 wins each. Who's going to break it?
Coach is shaking hands, everybody getting ready for this one. The bye can be so big too. It's an extra week of preparation going into your next game. It's also the opportunity to study your potential next opponent's moves in their quarterfinal. This can do a lot for either one of these teams.
It's huge for research, exactly. And you get to hide so much by waiting longer in playoffs before showing anyone what you've been working on.
CLG, Cloud9. Cloud9, no stranger to this situation, honestly. I mean, this is one of the teams that you sort of always expect to be in the playoff conversation in this picture. CLG, as you already mentioned, 7th last split, a team that has been around the bottom here for a while, was once one of the teams that you would see challenging for those championships. That ship has long sailed, except now she's back into port, and CLG could be looking to make some amazing things happen here. Yeah, buddy, got the ticket both ways. As everybody's out onto the rift, here we go. Cloud9 fanning out for that line of scrimmage.
All right, let's see what they will do with this Taliyah pick. Again, super strong combination with a reliable jungler that has the guaranteed CC of a flash knockup like Rek'Sai. Allows you to ran your seismic shove into your unraveled earth and threaded volley full combo. It's so much burst even before level 6. Meanwhile, Azir scales up a lot more later, much more defensive early on, just farms away. This is a classic Power of Evil style of champion. He loves these mages, long range, scaling up and farming from the mid lane.
And speaking of style, it's Comet as well. So not that heavy attack speed based Azir that's just going to constantly hit a front line full of meatballs. He's expecting this to be a burstier, faster paced kind of game.
Yeah, this is one of those changes that people use with Azir, along with altering the build path a little. Some people will go for the Luden's Echo first even to go full burst Azir. That does sacrifice a decent amount of mid and late game damage for team fighting though, because you lose out on damage over time, DPS, from increased attack speed in favor of going for the burst damage. We'll see if he goes all the way to alter his build, or just having the Comet in lane will be enough for him to deal with this Taliyah and go for those more impactful trades. Bottom side, the Zyrakan trying to get the shove on these minions.
And this is also a Guardian Rakan, the more standard Rakan approach. We have seen some of the spicier Hail of Blades picks here in recent times, but they're not going for that crazy early laning keystone.
Yeah, and it's super scary when you're facing a Caitlyn. You know you're going to be taking harassment. Caitlyn Morgana, the range is so long that even when you just go for minions as Zyrakan, sometimes you'll have to shrug off some of the damage, and that's exactly what Guardian is for. Trying to shrug off some of the lane phase damage and help you sustain through the early stages.
Looks like we'll see some vertical jungling here this game yet again. Nice binding there on the bottom side. Sneaky hitting level 2 means he's able to back it up with a trap, and they can instantly take off half of Stixxay's HP.
It's the exact combo we talked about in Champ Select. Binding, landing there for Zeyzal. Sneaky, quick on the trap. Able to get the full combination of damage. That is the health potion down for Stixxay. 2 minutes, 50 seconds into the game already. And the Caitlyn Morgana finding some pressure. Now with a big minion wave pushing, they can go for the invade with Svenskeren to try and counterbalance the invade that Wiggly is doing. You can see right now on the map, Xin Zhao already on the ward, which expired from Pixel Brush. They saw him go for that blue trade. But this could also be a possible dive with C9 pushing a big minion wave crashing in. CLG should know that this is a possibility. They're going for it. Binding hits!
The binding is already down, and this is disastrous for CLG. It's first blood for Niski.
That is so easy. When binding lands, again, the Taliyah seismic shove is guaranteed. Niski even flashes for it to guarantee they get the 100%. And you see how quickly he died. No opportunity to use flash there. Let's take a look at it here. A little bit slower motion. If you see, boom, it lands. Niski's gonna flash in to make sure they can kill him before he gets out of CC. That is 100% to 0. CC chained to death for the kill, and off of that, extra turret plates for the C9 duo.
Extra turret plates for Cloud9 and no minions for CLG. Compare that difference in farm real quick. 27-7 shows exactly how good this early lane is going for the side of Cloud9. And we have criticized the bottom lane of Cloud9 and how they've sort of been the Achilles heel for this team over the course of Summer Split. Uncharacteristically poor performances for them, whether you're looking at stats or just how they're playing. There's been quite a few mistakes, but to see the team be able to play around them and still make things pop off around these guys, if you're a Cloud9 fan, that's a good sign heading towards play.
Yeah, Zeyzal walking up there, landing that binding. I mean, for Stixxay, you're trying to evaluate, should he have flashed that binding even? They didn't have vision on the Rek'Sai and Taliyah, so they weren't 100% sure, but that is definitely going to be one they feel for a lot this game. 39 CS now for Sneaky, plus the turret plate that they got as well. They're halfway to the next one, so it's definitely looking good. I think if the recall goes off now, he'll come back with a BF sword. And Svenskeren taking the opportunity to get those deep boards you see on the wrap, on the Wolves as well.
Wiggly gonna clear out his wolf camp, but Svenskeren is still watching and waiting here. The Tremor Sense will be able to at least show him where Wiggly is at. Zeyzal and Sneaky maintain their control over the bottom side of the map here. There are some wards in the river for the side of CLG, just to make sure nobody's coming around through that direction and maybe set something up once they do push out a little bit here. Minions are shoving out, but Zeyzal and Sneaky have no interest in allowing that to happen. They just want to keep this lane shoved up, maybe set up another dive here for Svenskeren and Niski, who are once again doing what you talked about with that roam-heavy playstyle on Taliyah.
Exactly, trying to use their champions to the fullest of their abilities. This is why you pick her. Able to roam down bottom side. Another 2 turret plates almost picked up here. Another binding lands, another peacemaker. The damage just keeps on flying here for C9. Meanwhile, if you looked at the other side of the map where no attention has been so far, the Aatrox versus the Gangplank, Licorice should be able to get the early CS lead. He is doing so by himself up there. Gangplank does have extra money generation, of course, on the minions as usual, with last hitting with your Qs or barrel explosions. And that is going to mean that Svenskeren starts up this Mountain Drake. It's the lowest DPS dragon, so even though he is Rek'Sai, you can do it no problem without too much assistance.
But speaking of problems, Niski's got one here in the mid lane as Power of Evil and Wiggly work together to look to take him down. And one last stab of the spear before the wall comes up means CLG's on the board.
You got to keep your eyes on those timers for summoner spells. Yes, C9 got that first blood dive on bottom side. What did they use in order to get it? And CLG tracked the flash there from Niski. They punish him before it comes back up. During that whole time, though, we already knew Svenskeren was on the dragon and is able to finish up that mountain.
Man, that mountain feels good, particularly for the bottom lane, who have already been doing such a good job taking down the plates. 3 plates already gone by 7 minutes into the game, and now that you've got that extra true damage, they should be able to clean these last 2 up pretty easy.
All right, meanwhile, Wiggly finishes up the Gromp here. Not going to pay any visit to Licorice, who's feeling pretty good about the situation here, pushing up on the Gangplank. Once again, though, here's another look at it. Look at Wiggly holding there at the tower as soon as they see Niski again. That was the last second, and they actually are able to pull off the play. Really good job punishing the offensively used summoner, but once again, C9 finished the deal.
Mountain Drake, baby, that's what it gives you. Extra plate money, first turret in the pocket, only 8 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I'm guessing they finished that one no problem with Mountain or no, but here's a mid lane gank.
Power of Evil gets himself away from the chains because the angle Licorice moved at him. It was really easy to dodge off to the short path away, and PoE stays nice and safe. But now Cloud9 says, hey, we're in control of the bottom half of the map, and they can easily secure this blue.
Yeah, really good drafting here from C9 with the early game jungler, the roaming bottom, or mid laner, as well as the Caitlyn Morgana bottom lane, and playing to their strategy within the game as well. Step number 1 is complete for them. They got the bottom turret. CLG trying to farm up here during this onslaught. They have so many scaling options, but it looks like they're falling behind the curve so far,
yeah.
And it's getting fairly difficult. Ruin on top side, trying to get these barrel chain explosions with the Q to get the extra money. Has the Fairy Charm in inventory for extra mana regeneration. But here comes Sneaky and Zeyzal C9 with the swap.
Sneaky doing what Caitlyn does best after taking down the turret in her opponent's lane. She immediately rotates to another lane and starts harvesting more and more of those plates, get more and more of an early game lead. They're already up to 2,000 ahead of their opponents. Ruin recognizes there's way too much manpower up here to deal with directly. He'll drop the ultimate to clear the waves away and waste a little bit of Cloud9's time.
Yeah, meanwhile, CLG have rotated Wiggly down to the bottom side as well. They're even hard committing with a teleport from Ruin to try and finish up that tower on this push. So they are going to try and just answer completely with a full commitment. Objective trading going on here. That also means that Power of Evil is under attack in the mid lane, as you can see, being forced off of that turret as well.
I like CLG not trying to deal with the Caitlyn directly, but rather circumventing the issue and just going blow for blow here. But the problem is, with this many people around, it does take a little bit of time to finally burn this thing down. And topside, there's plenty of work being done by Sneaky and Zeyzal. Look at that, they've almost got the turret already dead. Sneaky should be able to put some more auto attacks into that one himself. Meanwhile, Svenskeren is in the Rift Herald pit.
Yeah, if you try and get all the turret plates down in one push, the defenses really stack up. This also means Rift Herald will be picked up on the side of Cloud9. Svenskeren gets that one in addition to the tower for Cloud9. So in the end, C9 still up 1 tower overall, plus the Rift Herald at their disposal, and a very healthy early lead.
Yeah, Cloud9 hasn't taken a single plate off of the mid lane turret, but that doesn't matter when you've got all 5 down on both sides. Incredible early plays across those side lanes here from these guys.
Yeah, and with the sides all down, they can group up around mid with Rift Herald, finish off those turret plates. They still have a good 4 more minutes to cash in on the rest of the turret plates. So there's a good chance C9 get every turret plate in the game available to them.
And you've got Infinity Edge plus the Zeal on Sneaky. Doesn't even have a level 1 boot yet because he's just going to continue
Who needs
farming up now.
boots? Boots don't crit.
They're not important indeed. There we go. The magical footwear finally coming online. Needed to wait for till 11:15 for that one. But now that he's got those, he can kite around a little bit better. Shelly's going to be summoned up. She's getting distracted hitting a couple of these minions, but she'll focus up here in just a second. Turret has only lost half of a plate. Shelly should get the charge off. Boom! 320 gold in the pocket. And they get some more. A couple more auto attacks would do it. Shelly may be able to farm that last little bit out, and there we go. Turret down to 40%. Still 2 minutes left to grab those last couple of plates, but CLG are trying to position well enough to stop the Cloud9 advances. Biofrost backing himself away here as Cloud9 continues to try to step up, contest vision around this river area, slightly push forward into CLG territory. Sneaky will continue firing these auto attacks off as CLG doesn't really have anything to worry about too much anymore. Shelly's gone. It's not like Cloud9 can just brute force this, but it is a situation where they can pick up Mountain number 2.
Yeah, Mountain will just burn down here from C9. They're able to easily transition out of that mid lane into another objective for themselves. I think CLG are actually fairly happy that these Drakes are not more damaging Drakes for team fights.
Yeah.
Because C9 are keeping up the pressure so effectively. It does mean that come 20 minutes, though, this amount of control that C9 have over the map could result in them getting a very quick Baron if left unattended by CLG. So the priority on CLG vision around that side of the map becomes a very high priority. This area just needs to be lit up by CLG once the Baron comes to the table.
And I like what I've seen from Cloud9 here so far. I like using the Caitlyn rotating around the map, pushing the issue. Power of Evil's not going to find the ulti to throw his opponent back into the turret. And now, here comes CLG looking to start things off on their own terms, but Wiggly's going to be exploded. It's 1-for-1 as junglers both fall.
Big trade right there. Now, no junglers left on the table. A lot of extra damage sustained by the C9 carries and backside too. So they will retreat. And CLG do defend. Now they can just send Stixxay as well as Ruin to go farm those side lanes that are pushed up. That's going to give them some much needed breathing room. As C9 were trying to keep up the pressure and finish off this turret for the last remaining turret plates. Will they be able to get the last ones before the 15-minute timer comes in? Niski, good job jumping off that wall, by the way, before Power of Evil can shove him into the turret. However, the flank around there from Wiggly is able to get the engage, and because of that commitment, Rakan and Gangplank ultimates allow CLG and Ruin to answer back, get the jungler 1-for-1.
But if you are CLG and you've got a comp consisting of Azir and Xayah and Gangplank and these scaling monsters, going 1-for-1 when you're behind is a pretty all-right situation. As long as you've still got that money flowing in, CLG's still got a win condition as the clock marches forward. But Cloud9 are not a team to sleep at the wheel. I want to see how they try to move forward now that they've got more of these turrets down. They should be able to take down the tier 1 in mid here very soon with plating gone. And then we'll see the kind of vision they can set up and the kind of picks they can try to make.
Yeah, they've spread out into the 1-3-1s. They get the final hits on that turret. 14 minutes has already passed, so they did not get extra turret plates for that. Not quite collecting all of them, but they got most of them on the map, and they are one rich team, especially Sneaky on this Caitlyn. Crits will be coming through very, very dangerously for CLG. You have to be so careful. Look at that, 7,200 gold in the pockets of Sneaky. By far the richest man on the field, showing how he got that prestige skin.
Oh, absolutely. And for the side of CLG, this is a composition that it's very scary to just blindly walk into Fog of War against. There could be Caitlyn trapped in any brush. Morgana could be waiting with a binding over the wall. The amount of tools that Cloud9 has to start things off if CLG overstep their current bounds are plentiful. And CLG's got to respect that while they continue scaling up. You're starting to see these first items come online here. You can see the echo for the Azir as you were talking about with that burstier, no attacks speed kind of build. Essence Reaver on the Xayah, but it's still going to be a while before these champions truly come online.
Yeah, and that, again, the drawbacks for the Luden Echo plus Comet build for Azir is less sustained damage for the team fights. However, he is looking for a lot of burst opportunities here. You know, the Rek'Sai, when the Rek'Sai goes in, a lot of these squishier targets, basically anybody but Aatrox, if they can get a big combo, will be very effective. Again, Vision heavily controlled by C9, and CLG are trying to get a lot of these defensive wards up around their jungle, as you can see, prioritizing this side of the jungle where the Baron is going to spawn. 16.5 minutes into the game, so we still have 3.5 to wait for it to come, but they don't want to lose control of that area for a second. C9 continuing to spread the map here and continue to split push.
I like Zeyzal just watching and waiting here in this brush, seeing who can he land a binding onto. It's not going to be Power of Evil right now. He's wisely playing off to the left, recognizing, hey, this is where we've got vision. Should probably make sure I'm not exposing myself to any more binds than necessary, as you're also going to see Biofrost moving through the top part of the jungle here, trying to sweep out some of this Cloud9 vision. Niski will attempt to stop him from doing so, but it won't work out too well here just yet. Still nothing to really fight over on the map right now. Drake hasn't respawned yet, but it will be very soon, and we've still got 3 minutes before Baron's back alive.
Yeah, Dragon coming up quick. That should be C9's. They should retain control of that area, and you can see what CLG's thought process is. With Dragon coming up, they push on top side. They want to trade this turret for the objective, but C9 gonna run them off that as well. They don't want to let any of this gold back into the CLG pockets to allow those champions to get any of the extra damage to start coming through. Ruins finished up the Trinity Force here on Gangplank, which is a good sign for them, adding some more power to that burst.
Also makes it doesn't just add burst power, it adds farming power, because the extra sheen power means those barrels are blowing up the minions incredibly easily, get all those silver serpents, all that extra gold, and Licorice will walk his way down here into bottom lane to answer this one. You can see those top laners staying pretty even in terms of farm. Licorice still having that slight lead that he earned during the laning phase. Power of Evil having a lead here in mid lane, while Sneaky has built up a substantial CS lead for himself there in the bottom side, but that's what you can really expect based on how Cloud9 was playing around the bottom lane early on. Rapid Fire Cannon also now done for the Caitlyn, makes her very scary in these siege scenarios.
Yeah, Sneaky can go for very, very safe poke. Whenever you walk around, charge up your rapid fire cannon shot, the range on it with Caitlyn is insane. Pretty much unanswerable by any of the members on CLG. The only thing that they could look for would be a Biofrost flank flash engage maybe. Other than that, it's very hard for CLG to try and punish Sneaky on the Caitlyn, especially considering there's a Morgana by his side. So C9 are very well set up for this mid-game siege, or for just baiting around the Baron. We keep setting up this Baron that is going to arrive to Summoner's Rift because Cloud9 took control of the map so early on in the game, they haven't had to risk anything or push anything since they know easily you can set up a bunch of Caitlyn traps. It makes it very difficult for the enemy team to come check. And with Sneaky with his super long range and the CC denial of the Morgana, it should be advantage Cloud9 setting up around Baron, and they're doing it now.
And those Caitlyn traps are such a pain in the butt anytime you are trying to contest a neutral objective. The ability to block off one, sometimes multiple paths completely makes it incredibly hard for CLG to go in, especially when you look at the comp. There's not somebody who can eat one of those cupcakes and just shrug it off, warmogs it back up, not worry about it. You're looking at a Xin Zhao and a Gangplank as your jungler and your top laner. These guys have got to be careful with their own health bars, and Cloud9 are continuing to take advantage of the momentum they have built. They're stealing away red buffs, they're putting down wards. They do not want to stop this pressure.
All right, the moment of truth has arrived, Captain Flowers. 1959, Baron has arrived! And now C9 will start to try and draw CLG into some conflict here. Trying to set up around the jungle first. Power of Evil takes a lot of damage, and Bio goes for Sven Scarin. Trying to catch him sleeping, but can't get it, and that is the ultimate down. That's going to signal C9 full speed ahead.
That's a big old green light. Svenskeren didn't even have to use his flash to get away from that one. And now with Wiggly just wiped off the face of Summoner's Rift, this is an easy call for Cloud9 to make. CLG must respond.
All right, are they going to go for the fight around Baron? C9 have them outnumbered. They've got double Mountain Drakes burning down Baron, 3k health.
Those double mountains are doing so much work here for the side of Cloud9. They are able to secure it. Into the pit goes Power of Evil, and back to the spawn point goes Power of Evil. Niski grabs the kill, and Cloud9 are sitting pretty.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not collect Baron Steel. Cloud9 are going to run away with this game. Now they've got Baron. They have the super juiced Caitlyn right now, sneaking on 3 items with the full crit multipliers, and he is coming for that playoff bye.
Juiced up with Baron buff and ready to go. Here we go. Top lane tier 2 turret. Now you see it. Now you don't. It's off the map, and Cloud9 are looking for inhibitor turrets next. Here's where Caitlyn once again is able to shine with the Yordle snap traps, throw those down in between these openings, put CLG in a spot where they cannot approach, and take those pot shots.
C9 absolutely putting on a clinic here. Power of Evil getting run back to the fountain again. And the traps start to go down.
I feel like I say it all too often, but when I'm looking at teams who are competing to be in the conversation for top of the table in LCS, it's not how much you win, it's how cleanly you win with it. And that's what I want to see from Cloud9 here. Cleanly shut this out. Show, yeah, we're definitely the team that deserves the bye as they continue to press forward towards the first inhibitor. CLG aren't really able to find an opportunity to move in just yet. The engage tools are a little bit limited, sans the Rakan, but Biofrost will have to pick his moment perfectly.
Insane snowball this game from C9 off the bottom lane. Ooh, Niski with the ultimate does catch him off. Biofrost tries to over the wall, gets nothing, and that is going to be an inhibitor for C9 guaranteed.
Back-to-back tragic ultis for Biofrost's Rakan this game have opened up Cloud9 opportunities time and again. Now Biofrost is completely off the map. Now the tier 3 turret is dead in the mid lane. The Gangplank ultimate will buy a little bit of time, make Cloud9 regroup here for a moment, but they've still got a 5v4 advantage. They've still got Sneaky. They've still got this entire game in their control. Wiggly is gone. The stopwatch will keep Svenskeren alive. Ruin eats the ace in the hole to keep Power of Evil okay, but 2 inhibitors down is not where you want to be 23 minutes in.
Yeah, they've got a minute left on the Baron, Captain Flowers. That Baron power play might be the whole game.
I said I wanted to see a clean ending, and Cloud9 are looking to do it right now. Nexus turret number 1 is deleted, and CLG will try to defend with 3. 5 members of Cloud9 still stand tall, but health bars are hurt, and mana is running low. Second Nexus turret falls, and Sneaky will continue putting the auto attacks into the Nexus.
They revive.
Cloud9 do not want to overextend here. They're still sticking around a little bit longer. I'm not sure what CLG can do. They summon up the Azir turret and make their stand.
Yeah, C9 have 20 seconds left on the Baron. That is 1 more minion wave push. 1 Nexus turret still here. CLG, 5 members ready. Will they go for it? C9 sticking around.
Cloud9 do not want to go home on this one. They just want to end the game. 24 minutes in. They've still got those Mountain Drakes. They're letting themselves regenerate back up just a little bit. Zeyzal pretty low on mana here. Niski and Sneaky the same. See Licorice really the only guy ready to go no matter what here in the fight, but there they go. World Ender's gonna be popped, CLG's gonna be dropped, and Cloud9 will earn themselves a playoff bye. They'll force CLG back into the fountain, and they'll do it in style.
Sneaky and Zeyzal answer the haters with a bottom lane victory. Woo! Simple as that. Caitlyn Morgana run this game.
Zeyzal with the perfect support score. No deaths, no kills, 100% KP. The man who set everything up. That was beautiful Morgana play.
Team all in on it as well. Niski with the Talia pick, roaming down early on with Svenskeren to the bottom side. They go for the dive. Zeyzal lands the binding, and that is all she wrote.
This looks like a team that deserves a playoff bye. This looks like a team that you're going to be scared to go up against in the semifinals, knowing they've had an extra week to prepare and craft new strategies, especially when it's a team like Cloud9 that is known for pulling out new and innovative strategies, especially in big moments like that. I'm excited to see where playoffs takes these guys.
Cloud9 been working on a lot of iterations for their roster as well. It'll be exciting to see what they go with in the best of 5 series. Playoffs can't come soon enough, Captain Flowers.
Oh, baby. And for CLG, today might have been not the victory they were looking for in the tiebreaker. However, this is still an incredible run. As we mentioned at the start of this tiebreaker, where they were in spring to where they've gone now in summer. And I still want to see them in the quarterfinals because I absolutely believe this is a semifinal level team.
For sure, CLG have made an absolutely amazing climb over the year. Cloud9, though, get the victory, they get the bye, and they'll be happy about that.
And now we're going to send things down to La Tigris for an interview with the jungler who just locked in that bye.
They sure did, and I'm sure all the Cloud9 fans are extremely happy about that. I've got Svenskeren by my side, and first things first game of the day for you. Is there anything special you had to do to kind of warm up for these evening rounds?
Yeah, to be honest, it was pretty exhausting because obviously I woke up at the same time as the team. Even though I didn't have to play on stage earlier today, I still had to be awake at like 8 a.m. So, I mean, obviously the other guys are probably more exhausted because they had the game. But yeah, I mean, I was still in pretty good condition.
And you still had to click it into gear there, which you did. A lot of very controlled performance coming from you in that game. So just talk me through kind of what you were thinking about to try and oppress that comp on the other side that had the potential to just get out of hand.
I mean, yeah, the game was pretty boring, I must say, because it was just us pushing the plates and they were kind of just giving it to us. They were not really fighting too much for it. There was like one team fight mid where it was just both junglers died and that's like all. So the game was pretty boring, I must say. But yeah, I mean, we just ended up being in control. So we got all the dragons. You have 2 mountains, the Barons is 3.
Well, despite however the game went, a bye is a very hype big deal, and varying people have varying opinions on what that means to them. So for you specifically, how would this bye enable you to maybe perform better in the playoffs?
I mean, going into the day, I didn't really care too much about the bye or not because I've been in both situations where I haven't had the bye and I've had the bye, and I feel like both have the upsides. Like, I don't think there's really just a clear advantage to having the bye. I think obviously getting the bye, you can see what the other team is going to play, but I didn't really care too much about it.
Well, I know a lot of fans out there care about this victory, as I'm sure you do too, and your teammates, so congratulations again on that win. But we do still have another tiebreaker to come, so let's hear what they have to say over at the State Farm Analyst Desk.
That's right, La Tigris, we're not stopping here. Cloud9 does lock up the first round playoff bye with the 2nd seed over CounterLogic Gaming here in the tiebreaker. They had to go 3-0 this weekend in order to snag that. And we'll dive a little bit more into the big picture of Cloud9 moving forward into the playoffs, but I do want to dissect this game. Starting in Champion Select, I know we have some choice thoughts both for Cloud9 and for CLG.
C9 made CLG look silly from start to finish here. Yeah, and I think the draft, you had a really good point about why, and specifically, it started at the draft.
Yeah, I think C9 absolutely called out CLG when, as soon as you see the recon, they're like, you're going to pick Xayah, we'll take the classic bot lane counter of Morgana and Caitlyn, knowing that you're going to take the counter pick. Plus, you already see the Azir. You know it's a mid laner without very much priority and ability to roam, so it's not like he's going to be interfering with the bot lane. They called out CLG completely in their game plan. They outdrafted them, and it's a different look than we usually see out of C9, where their win condition is about roaming to the bot lane when they take the Talia as well, and that's what they completely play around, and they crush with it.
And that's what's so funny to me, because Svenskeren's there on stage going, well, it was kind of a boring game, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well,
5-4?
So I was like, I'm sitting here going, well, you know, sometimes it's nice to just watch a team understand their win conditions, draft them, play to them cleanly, and close out the game. Every once in a while, it's nice to watch a game of League of Legends like that, and that's exactly what Cloud9 did. As you mentioned, Mark, an early visitation to the bot lane, bringing both Talia and the Rek'Sai, executing on a dive perfectly, and putting Sneaky in the best position he has exited the lane phase yet this summer split.
One of the best things about Talia is her unreal ability to push lanes faster than your opposing mid laner, and it just opens up the map so much. But best of all, this actually paints a very scary picture for Cloud9 moving forward because you're subbing in Blabber. Blabber is one of the best Talia jungles. This is now a flex pick for Cloud9 that every team has to respect.
So it's a scary picture for every other team that Cloud9 can't do this. Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I think that, again, Cloud9 is making a case for being someone to be feared in the playoffs.
And that was the whole game. That's our one highlight, because after that was the first wave. You do that,
really was.
You do that slow push, you build the entire wave up. The other guy's like, okay, I'll catch this under turret. You kill him under turret. all of the creeps die. It was like 28-7 CS at one point, and look at that gold difference. And then Caitlyn just moves around the map murdering turrets. And yeah, like Sven said, there was one skirmish in the mid lane where both junglers died, but that didn't stop the objective snowball.
The reason why it's so slow and CLG couldn't do anything is the Morgana pick. Xin Zhao cannot engage against the Morgana. Your 3 talent strike is not going to break the black shield. And same with Rakan. Your quickness won't work. Your knockup won't work. It's just not going to break it. And if you take those away, there's no other real engage tools. If you're forcing Power of Evil to be the guy that has to Shurima shuffle every single fight, he's just going to int it every single time. So the Morgana pick in the draft was so powerful that this is why we're kind of dwelling on it, because it really showed how powerful Cloud9 can be going up against a team that was just earlier today in contention for first.
Yeah, just CLG's games today as a whole were an absolute disaster from the drafting perspective. So they have a lot to clean up. This draft was bad. Very bad. You have 3 well, not losing necessarily in terms of like you get killed in the matchups, but you're down priority basically in all 3 lanes. You have your GP at 6 who's like, maybe I can ult the bot lane when it's getting dove, but they dive at level 3. Your jungler is a pre-6 aggressive jungler with no playmaking setup in any of the lanes. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do with this. And it was so telegraphed. The Azir first pick.
Right.
All of it together to me is just like, you have so much work to do for prepping for a playoff opponent.
And so while this may be very uplifting for Cloud9 and for Cloud9 fans, I think on the flip side, you can look at CLG and you can say, well, while this weekend did not look pretty for them, this is, in a sense, the best time for that to happen, right? This is that kind of, you know, that little slap awake that you need right before playoffs to say, like, hey, get yourselves in check. Let's, again, remember what works for us. It's Crumbs' mantra, right? How do we win games? Keep playing to that win condition.
And if that wasn't enough, remember that CLG, now that they're 3rd, get to play against our last place team, which is gonna be either Optic Gaming or Golden Guardian. So they're up against teams that they have a ton of experience defeating already. So that just makes it so much more exciting, gives them more time to prepare and experiment a bit more in sprints.
So what is it for CLG? I just want to get back to kind of a more clear image of what CLG is successful with and what they should be doing in draft.
I mean, Stixay talked about it, I think, yesterday after the post game. He says, like, you know, we are fairly lane focused in our drafts, and I think that's fine. I think, you know, what they've been doing all season long was actually really good. They had great drafts all season long. It was just, you know, this very last day they had two pretty mediocre ones, and it felt like they didn't really pick enough focus for actually having fighting potential in the early game. Even in the previous game, they had a lot of like globals, but it was Sona, Tom Kench, and then like you have...
There was the Frankenstein comp?
Yeah, it was the Frankenstein comp a little bit, and like I think, you know, they can get back to it very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just about making sure that they have maybe a little bit more of a plan for what they actually want, as opposed to just waiting till they see things and hoping it comes together.
Back over to Cloud9 real quick. I just want to talk about this squad one more time as they put up a 3-0 weekend with 3 different looks. Again, 3 different iterations of rosters. I know it's not 5 unique players every single time, but that is something to be recognized that, again, in the waning weeks of the split, Cloud9 again ramps up to become a threat, and they do it in a way that's going to make teams question everything when they're coming into a best-of-5 trying to prep for this squad.
Yeah, because every player that they've subbed in also brings in new champions. It's not just that they have different styles, it's the champion pool as well. And that makes him a more versatile threat than any other teams, because no other team plays with subs like that. This is a harder team to prep against than Team Liquid, because suddenly you're thinking, oh, well, they might just play Sven Skaren the whole time. Suddenly it's now Blabber and Deftly in the bottom lane, Deftly playing Swain and Blabber playing Taliyah, and you're like, what? We haven't played against this all split long. I think this was a very calculated idea of subbing these players in the last week by Cloud9 to make sure that their playoffs are smooth as possible.
Every single member has looked fantastic, and like I'm saying, different looks. It's like, I actually agree about harder to prep for, maybe not the better than Team Liquid, but you have no idea what you're getting anytime you match up versus Cloud9.
Reaper called it. We had an interview with him just yesterday where he said it doesn't matter which roster we field. We are not lessening our chances for that playoff bye. They put their money where their mouth is, and they nabbed it up. We've got one more tiebreaker before our playoffs are squared away. Find out if Optic Gaming or Golden Guardians punch their ticket into the postseason after this.